It's about incorporating physical activity all throughout your day, every day. This is something I do at the beginning of every single week. Over years of being on this fitness journey, it's just become an automatic reaction at this point. And these are habits that we want to keep for a long time to stay fit for life. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Always Active podcast, the show that empowers you to lead an active lifestyle. I'm your host, Katie, and in this episode, I'll be sharing 13 habits, mindsets, and practices that people who are physically active do regularly to stay strong, healthy, and motivated. When I was coming up with the idea for this episode, I was originally going to make an episode all about healthy habits, like listing off sleep, healthy eating, exercise. But you know that already, you've heard this before. And so instead of just telling you to exercise, instead I was thinking, what if I shared the habits that are actually going to help you prioritize fitness and exercising regularly? What are the things that actually help me to stay consistent on my fitness journey? So this episode is meant to inspire you because I really believe that if you follow these habits, it will help you to achieve your fitness goals and make being fit part of your identity. So I'm excited to dive into these habits, and without further ado, let's get psyched to move. To start off, I want to speak a little bit about the importance of habits. So a habit, simply defined, is a regular, repeated action, something that you automatically do. And our habits matter because they really are shaping our lives. They're small things that we do on a regular basis, but they are extremely impactful. And we get to make choices about the habits that we incorporate into our lifestyle. And if we are focusing on doing these healthy habits, it will help to improve our health, fitness, and well-being. If you are consistent with your habits, it will help you to be successful in achieving your goals. Many goals that are outcome-based, so for example, I want to run a 5K, are actually, if you break them down, composed of many habits. It would be the habit of running 3 times a week in preparation for the 5K. If you want to achieve pull-ups, it would be the habit of going to the gym and practicing pull-ups every week. So you need to be consistent, and consistency looks different for everyone. Consistency is so much more important than perfection because perfection is not realistic. It's not something we can actually achieve. But as long as we are consistent and we are regularly doing these habits day after day, even if we miss a day, in the grand scheme of things, that's what's going to help us to be successful in the long term. And something that I heard recently on a podcast interview with Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, she shared that you should be setting standards, not goals. And I thought that was interesting because it does speak to the power of habits and the daily practices that we're doing, the standards that we're setting for ourselves on a regular basis, which in turn is going to help us to achieve these bigger picture goals. But there really is no end destination. It's just a lifestyle. It's the habits that we have. It is our identity to be healthy and fit people. And by practicing these habits, that will help us to achieve that. So overall, I think by practicing habits, this is going to help you to be healthy and fit and ultimately the best version of yourself. On a personal note, for as long as I can remember, I've been very interested in learning about how we can optimize our habits. I can remember as early as grade 8, I went through a process of wanting to reinvent myself. And ever since then, I've just been so interested in learning more about these kinds of things. And maybe about 4 years ago at this point, I read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And this had a huge impact on learning how to make habits and break old habits and the importance of habits. And I really do feel that habits have positively impacted my life and they've helped me to stay healthy and fit. I'm constantly learning and growing. I'm building new habits. I'm breaking old habits that I no longer want to include in my life. And I'm also constantly falling off track and needing to either rebuild habits or re-break habits that I had already successfully built or broken. It's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing journey. But at the core, I really do feel that once I've implemented habits, it's so much more likely that I will actually maintain it rather than falling off. And then if I do fall off and need to rebuild a habit, it's much easier the next time around. So everything I'm sharing today is coming from my experience. It's coming from the habits that I actually do consistently to help me consistently stay active. I'm not going to be sharing the unrealistic habits that I've failed to implement because trust me, there are plenty of those as well, but I can get into that on another day. I really am aiming to preach what I'm practicing through sharing these habits. So with that, let's dive into the 13 fitness habits. And we're starting off strong. Habit number 1 is to exercise regularly. This is obvious, but I'm starting off with it first because this is really the most foundational habit. When I say exercise, I mean intentional, planned workouts. And workouts that are contributing toward achieving the physical activity guidelines, which I've mentioned before. But as a reminder, these guidelines recommend that we should engage in at least 150 minutes of moderate to high intensity aerobic physical activity each week. That's the cardio portion. And then they also recommend that we should engage in strength activities that involve all major muscle groups at least 2 times per week. So that's the strength training component. If you aren't yet hitting these guidelines, remember that every bit of exercise counts and you can gradually build up to meeting these guidelines. And if you are already meeting these guidelines, you can aim to continue increasing the amount of exercise you do to exceed them and experience even more health and fitness benefits. And there are so many health and fitness benefits associated with achieving these guidelines, which is why I feel that this habit really is the most important. Habit number 2 is to move daily. So it's not just about these intentional planned workouts, it's about having an overall active lifestyle. It's about incorporating physical activity all throughout your day, every day, and hence the name of this podcast, Always Active. The goal really is to always be active in every day of your life. So this is more so speaking to the unplanned, habitual movement, and again, every little bit of movement counts. Now, I've talked about this in a previous episode, but some small examples of how you can move more throughout the day would be to have a step goal to aim to move more and walk more throughout the day. You can make your day harder. This is something that people who are physically active always do. Things like taking the stairs, parking further away, using active transportation rather than getting to places using a car, and also having active hobbies. So many of my hobbies have some sort of physical activity component associated with them. Like one of my hobbies is going for hikes. Another one is golfing. Another one is trying out new group fitness classes. So all in all, habits 1 and 2 to exercise regularly and move daily kind of are these ultimate goals of what we want to achieve. And then in the rest of this episode, I'll be sharing tips to help you make regular exercise and daily movement habits. Habit number 3, people who are fit prioritize rest and recovery. You're working hard in your workouts, and so you need to recover properly in order to prevent injury and get the most out of your training. And some ways to do this would be to make sure that you're incorporating stretching and mobility into your routine. I like to include mobility warm-ups in my gym workouts and stretching as my cool downs. It also involves doing active recovery, so things like low intensity cardio, like walking, things like taking an active rest day by doing a yoga class. You can also go for regular massages. If you have benefits, absolutely use them. I personally schedule massages around 1 time per month, and I find that it really helps with my recovery. Or you can invest in a massage gun or do foam rolling if you don't have access to massages, and I think these are good alternatives to help achieve a similar effect. And another thing to prioritize is just taking rest days, days when you aren't doing any activity or you're doing very low intensity activity to just rest and recover, and that way you can get back to your workouts and back to that high intensity. Habit number 4 is to set goals. Regularly reflect, set goals, and track your progress. And it's important to challenge yourself throughout this fitness journey. This is very motivating and it helps you to actually maintain your fitness habits. An important component to this too is to celebrate your wins. When you do achieve a goal, make sure to reward yourself, acknowledge your achievement, and this will fuel your continued motivation to set and achieve new goals. I personally set new fitness goals every few months. My current goal is to complete High Rocks, which I've mentioned before, but once I achieve that goal, I'm just going to dive into a new goal, and that's helping me to constantly stay motivated throughout my fitness journey. Some examples of goals that you might want to set: things like running a 10-kilometer race, learning how to do the splits, or gaining 5 pounds of muscle. These are just a few examples of tons of different fitness goals that you could work toward. So make sure to set a goal that is personally meaningful to you. And be sure to listen to episode 11 if you haven't already, because I share lots of goal setting tips in that episode. Habit number 5, people who are fit create a plan. Make sure to plan out your workouts every week. Ensure that your workouts are fitting in with your other life commitments, and this is something I do at the beginning of every single week. On a Sunday or Monday, I'll take usually about an hour out of my day to plan out my week. Of course, I'm planning out my deadlines for school, I'm planning out my personal commitments, and then I plan out where am I going to fit my workouts within my personal schedule. So this is a very crucial, important habit to have. If you prefer not to plan out every single week, another option would just be to have a consistent workout schedule. So you know that every Monday at 6 a.m. you are going to the gym to do a strength training workout. That's just a habit. It's part of your routine and you do it regularly. Personally, for me, I feel like my schedule fluctuates week to week, so I'm always having to intentionally plan. But if you have a more consistent schedule and that works for you, that's also another way to have a plan in place. And by creating a plan, it's helping you to ensure that you're actually going to be consistent and you're going to make time for exercise, because consistency really is the secret ingredient when it comes to achieving any results with your fitness goals. And then once you create this plan, you actually need to follow through with it. And of course, that is a habit of fit people as well, to follow through with their plans. Some tips for planning: you can use either a physical or a digital calendar. I like to use the time blocking strategy where I color code my calendar and I block out different sections throughout the day to work on different tasks or to complete my workouts. When you're creating your plan, make sure to specify where you'll be working out, when you'll be working out, and what kind of exercise you'll be doing. Remember to adjust your plans over different seasons or different time periods. Maybe if you are in school right now, your workout routine is going to look different from your workout routine that you were doing in the summer. So remember to adjust your plans accordingly. It may also be helpful for you to follow a program, so that way it takes out the element of needing to plan the specific exercises that you're doing in your workout because they're already laid out for you. And similarly, you could book a class because you know for this dedicated period of time, you're going to be at a class and the instructor is going to tell you the exercises to do. And always remember to create a backup plan. So yes, it's important to have these plans in place, but things come up, life happens, and so be prepared to pivot when necessary and have a backup plan for the alternate workout that you'll do in case things don't go according to plan. Habit number 6 is to constantly be experimenting and learning. Experiment with different goals, different styles of training, different exercises, techniques, and skills, and then learn from your experiences. You'll learn what you like and what you don't like. You can also learn from educational fitness content. I like to consume lots of podcasts and YouTube videos. Maybe you like consuming fitness content through books or courses. And you can learn from other people as well. Maybe you have a friend who is further along on their fitness journey and can share some tips with you. Maybe you hire a personal trainer who is an expert and can help you on your fitness journey. Constantly be learning throughout your experience and aiming to acquire new knowledge, and also challenge your knowledge and beliefs. The health and fitness space is always evolving because there's new research and scientific discoveries that are occurring. So seek out new information, think critically about the information too, that's super important, and this is really going to help you to grow on your fitness journey. I'm always learning new things. I feel like I learn something new about health and fitness every single day, either again through my personal experience or through consuming educational content or through my friends who are on this fitness journey with me. So stay curious, experiment with different things, and constantly be learning and evolving. Habit number 7 is to diversify your routine. Try changing things up every couple months and transition through different seasons and phases. Some ways to do this would be to play different sports in different seasons, to transition from more outdoor workouts to indoor workouts during different seasons. You might also follow a phased workout program where you're doing different styles of training in different phases of the program. And some people also diversify their routine through changing their caloric intake in different phases of their routine. So do what works for you and think about how you can change things up in a way that would be exciting, because this helps you to stay motivated and it will help to challenge your body and your mind in new and different ways. The next practice that many people who lead an active lifestyle do is number 8, listen to your body. Aim to practice intuitive movement. This means paying attention to your body's cues regarding whether you are feeling sore, whether you have high or low energy levels, high or low stress levels, and then increase or decrease the challenge and intensity of your workouts accordingly. This can mean adjusting your workouts, maybe skipping a workout or adding a workout depending on how you are feeling. And this respects your body's needs. It's going to prevent injury, it's going to prevent burnout and plateaus, and it also increases the sustainability of your routine because it's something that you are going to be able to enjoy in the long term. I'm constantly doing this. If I have a very busy day, or maybe I have a less busy day, that's going to determine the type of workout that I'll do. If I'm feeling sick, if I'm feeling low energy, maybe I didn't have the best sleep the night before, that's going to determine the workout that I'll do. That's going to determine whether I'm going to show up at the gym as I originally planned, or maybe I'll have to pivot and do a home workout instead because that's better going to honor my body's needs for that day. So as you can tell, that's kind of related to backup planning, which I was mentioning before. But I really do feel that over years and years of being on this fitness journey, it's just become an automatic reaction at this point to judge how I'm feeling and then be able to choose a workout accordingly by listening to my body. Habit number 9, fit people invest in their fitness. This means spending time, money, and resources into your fitness routine. Maybe purchasing a gym membership, purchasing equipment, activewear, coaching, programs. As I've mentioned before in episode 13, which was my fitness favorites episode, we are often making choices about how we spend our money and how we spend our time and resources. So consider investing in and prioritizing your fitness because it is a worthwhile investment. If you invest in your fitness journey, you're investing into yourself, and it's ultimately going to help to improve your performance, your consistency, and your motivation on your fitness routine. Of course, be smart about it. Don't go wasting all your time and money on unnecessary fitness products. That's never what I'm promoting, but I do think it is valuable to be making these investments into your fitness. Habit number 10 is to always be prepared to move, to exercise. This would look like having your equipment and your workout gear readily available at all times. So, for example, John likes to keep his pickleball paddles in his car. I have a soccer ball in my car. I keep resistance bands in my backpack. I'm often seen wearing activewear and sneakers out and about, and it's honestly become a personality trait of mine at this point to be wearing leggings and sneakers, of course, when appropriate. But this removes a barrier to exercising. You're already prepared, you're already ready, and if something spontaneously comes up, you can be ready to go, ready to take on this workout, and it eliminates any of the friction that you would have experienced had you not had these things readily available. I'm sure we can all think of our fit friend who has sports equipment in their car and is always wearing athleisure, and maybe that fit friend is you. Habit number 11, fit people inspire and support others. Be an inspiration. Share your fitness journey with other people. Spread the positivity and the benefits that you've experienced through your fitness journey. One way to do this might be even through social media. I think many people can benefit from doing this. I've benefited so much from sharing my fitness journey on social media. And even if you have a private account just for your close friends, you can help to inspire other people in your circle. Encourage your loved ones to be active. Remind them that if you can do it, they can also do it. And this is not only helping others, but it's also fulfilling for yourself. I feel extremely fulfilled when I'm able to support someone along their fitness journey and encourage them to start exercising, and I'm sure you can relate to feeling the same way. And another related habit is to uplift others. So anyone who is already on their fitness journey, encourage them, support them, motivate them, and cheer them on. And it is just such a positive thing to be not only inspiring people to start a fitness journey, but also supporting someone while they are already on their journey. And then a related habit, habit number 12, is to connect with others who prioritize fitness. Surround yourself with like-minded people. I've managed to do this because my whole circle of friends all prioritizes health and fitness, Everyone is doing it in their own unique way. And it's great because we can, again, support each other on our fitness journeys and also do activities together. And it's nice to have this motivating, supportive environment with your friends, having these accountability buddies to motivate you to achieve your goals. Some examples of how you can connect with other people through fitness: schedule active social plans and be active together. Some ways I do this would be scheduling walks with friends, going to the driving range with my friends, and playing pickleball with my friends. Even this year for my birthday, I went to a trampoline park with my friends, and we were all celebrating my birthday while also being active and having fun together. You can also meet people through going to group fitness classes or going to the gym, because you're going to find other people who already have that priority and similar interests to you. You can also meet people through online fitness communities. I've met lots of other people on their fitness journey through social media and DMing one another on Instagram. And a little plug for the Always Active community: if you aren't following it already, be sure to follow at all.ways.active on Instagram. This is where I share my poll questions, and I also plan to create some form of community at some point in the future, so stay tuned for that. You can also connect with other people who prioritize fitness by joining sports teams. This is something I do by playing soccer every year, and also through different fitness events like High Rocks, which I'll be attending, and also races or powerlifting meets. You can meet lots of people that way. And then the final habit, number 13, is to adopt other healthy habits. As we know, there are many other healthy habits in addition to exercising regularly and moving daily. Exercise is a keystone habit, meaning it's a foundational habit that will lead to positive changes in other areas of your life. And this helps to build discipline and confidence that you can build these other healthy habits as well. For example, sleep habits, healthy eating habits, and meditating. Health and wellness really does require a holistic approach, and these habits are going to help complement your fitness routine. I will dive into these other healthy habits in a future episode, but for today, I really just wanted to focus on the importance of fitness-related habits. So now you have all these ideas for habits, and I've suggested some ways where you can start implementing them into your routine, but I'd like to share a brief intro to building fitness habits. I do plan to do a future episode about more in-depth strategies to build and break habits, but today I'll be providing some more high-level tips. The first tip is to just pick one habit to build at a time, and make sure that when you're doing this, you're picking habits that resonate with you most. So I've provided you with 13 habits that you can try to implement, and just pick one. What spoke to you? What got you the most excited? And start trying to prioritize and implement that. Another tip is to have accountability. Either have an accountability buddy, join a fitness community, or even just stay accountable by setting a commitment to yourself. Next, make sure to stick with it long term. Remember that these habits are not quick fixes, and these are habits that we want to keep for a long time in order to sustain them and actually stay fit for life. The next tip is habit stacking, which means pairing an existing habit with a new habit that you want to implement. So for example, let's say you want to start prioritizing stretching and you already are consistent with your gym workouts. You can stack these habits by adding stretching to the end of your gym workouts, and that's something that I like to do. The next tip is to reward yourself. Make sure to celebrate your wins, and when you do accomplish a goal or when you do consistently achieve a habit for a certain period of time, you can reward yourself with something that is going to complement your fitness goals. And the last tip is to give yourself grace. If you fall off with your habits, or if you're failing to build a habit or break a habit, just keep trying, just take different approaches, have a different strategy in place, and eventually you will be able to build this habit. I truly believe that all the habits I shared today are achievable for everyone, regardless of your starting point. You can make it happen. Just stay consistent, and you've got this. Moving on to our community responses, I asked you over on Instagram some questions related to your fitness habits. The first question I asked was, how important are your habits to achieving your fitness goals? I asked this question on a scale ranging from not important to very important. The average response was very high. It was like 95%. So we'll say very important. And there were only a couple responses on the low end. So clearly, most of you agree that habits are important. And believing this really is an important first step because it's going to motivate you to actually want to incorporate healthy habits into your routine and motivate you to start building them. The next question I asked is, which of the following fitness habits do you practice most consistently? 83% of you said moving daily, 11% of you said prioritizing rest and recovery, and 6% of you said adopting other healthy habits like sleep, nutrition, and hydration. And then none of you said setting and tracking goals. So most of you are moving daily, and I think that's really great. It's so important to be practicing that habit. And then hopefully through this episode, you can now understand more tips and habits that you can implement to help you achieve this ultimate goal of exercising regularly and moving daily. The next question, how confident are you in your ability to build and maintain fitness habits? And I asked this on a scale ranging from not confident to very confident. The average response was at the 75% mark. So most of you are confident. And as always, my goal with these episodes is to help you increase your confidence. So hopefully you're feeling even more confident to build and maintain fitness habits after listening to today's episode. And then the last question I asked was an open response question, and it was, which habit that you consistently practice has had the biggest positive impact on your fitness journey? One of you said moving and eating well. That's awesome. Like I said, moving really is that keystone habit, and then eating well is another healthy habit to complement fitness. One of you said going straight to the gym after work. This saves time and I'm motivated to get home and relax. This is such a practical and helpful tip. And my friend who shared this, I have seen she actually consistently lives this out, which is awesome and just demonstrates how realistic this tip is. One of you said following the fighter's mindset. And I actually hadn't heard of this mindset before, so I looked it up. And this mindset is emphasizing mental toughness and focus, approaching challenges with determination, and committing to personal growth. So I think this is such a great mindset to have if you are someone who wants to prioritize fitness. One of you said at least 30 minutes of constant movement every day. And yes, I agree, daily movement is crucial in any form that works for you. The next response was going with friends. Absolutely, this helps to make things so much more fun and enjoyable and motivating. The next response is, if I'm free in the morning, I automatically schedule in gym time. And I think this is great to have that automatic routine in place that if you have free time in a morning, then you are going to plan and attend a workout. And then the last response was strength training and walking. And I can totally relate to these habits. It really is an ideal combo to mix the strength component and the cardio component and just have a nice, well-rounded routine. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope that you've learned something new and you plan to start practicing these habits because they really can transform your life. And I'd like to leave you with a challenge today. Choose one habit out of the 13 that I shared to start today. And if you start today with time and consistency, you can eventually make this an automatic process that you do without even having to think about it. So that's all for today. Please share this episode with a friend if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Always Active podcast. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I would be grateful if you could please leave a review. Also, be sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at all.ways.active so that your responses can be featured in future episodes. See you next time.